Hey everybody, this is Carol. I'm here with SDMETAL.com. We're here at the Brick by Brick at the Maximum Cavalera Tour, celebrating Valentine's Day the most metal way you possibly could imagine. I'm here with Max Cavalera and Richie. How are you guys doing today?
Very good.
Good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good. I'm glad. You guys, honestly, this is like probably one of the best ways I could figure to celebrate Valentine's Day with a Soulfly and Incite concert. Honestly, I can't think of anything better. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is something that how is tour life different now that this is such a big family affair? How is tour life different than when you're touring with people who you're not necessarily related to?
Well, it's a family tour, you know, so it's going to be different. It's awesome. You know, we got all the kids here. You know, all the bands are playing. Incite, Lodi Kong, Soulfly.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's connected. The whole family's connected. You know, my wife Gloria works with me. She's our manager. She put this whole thing together. And we have Rich's brother Jason. He crews for Zion for the drums. There's Zion playing for Soulfly now. He's doing 2 bands tonight, Soulfly and Lodi Kong. So it's great. We all travel here. There's 19 people in the bus. And,
19 people in this bus.
This is mad.
Yeah, it must be, but it's funny. This is way more metal than a minivan, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about your mother being a tour manager? Because most moms out there, like, this isn't really, like, the kind of lifestyle for them. How is that for you?
Well, she's great because, I mean, she's a pioneer. I mean, she's one of the earliest women managers and a very successful one. So I think having her, you know, makes everybody feel a lot better and makes things smoother. And you know, I think the thing that makes this tour a lot special is, you know, when you go out with other bands, you know, some of you guys don't vibe out until about 3 weeks or the last show of the tour, and you're like, why didn't we hang out the whole time? And, you know, it comes in, we all are right off the bat having a great time, and the attitude is all great, and, you know, it makes the tour just flow and feel great, and makes it easier on everybody for sure.
Well, it's so funny, you know, you go on a family vacation and most normal families want to strangle each other after like a week in Florida or something like that, you know, but I
do that too.
Yeah.
That comes later.
So how long is this tour lasting then? How long, how much longer do you guys, and what is this? Is this like the beginning of your tour? How much further do you have to go on this?
Well, this is, I think, the 3rd time we tour in U.S. for the Enslaved record, which is a lot. Pretty amazing. We got to do 3 tours from it. Maximum Cavalera, I think, is the 2nd time we're doing in the U.S., which is called Maximum Cavalera.
Which is one of the best tour names ever.
The Cavalera family on tour. We did one in Europe. It was great. We're trying to. They're trying to bring it to Australia and South America later in the year. Hopefully they can do that.
That would be great.
But this is for 7 weeks, and we go all the way to Canada. We got like 10 shows in Canada.
Wow.
Amazing.
This is the first one today, so it's going to be exciting.
Sweet. I love it.
Get all the kinks out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk first. I love both of your bands, by the way. Let's start with you, Max, for Soulfly. Your new album, Incite, came out somewhere in 2012, correct? And you have been quoted in interviews to say that you founded this band with the idea of combined sound and spiritual beliefs. How does Enslaved fit in with this philosophy that you put into Soulfly?
Yeah, it continues the Soulfly philosophy. It's all there. Musically, it's a little bit different from my older records. It's a little bit more extreme, almost edge of death metal. You know, from all the things I've listened to. I like a lot of old school death metal, like, you know, Morbid Angel and Obituary and Death and Massacre. And I like a lot of the new bands too, like I Declare War, Molotov Solution, Suicide Silence, you know, and Acacia String. You know, I listen to a lot of that new stuff, and the combination of both, the old and the new, inspired me to make Enslaved a extreme record, and it was fun and it was different, and a lot of people really they were shocked when they heard Worlds Come for the first time. A lot of people were like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
This is death metal.
I was very shocked by that.
Max is crazy doing death metal now. And it was cool, you know. I think it's cool to just be different, you know. I don't want to ever do the same thing again. I like to keep it different, keep it trying different things, and this album is just another step in that, you know, order of things.
Now, your shirt is actually very interesting. I find it very interesting, the shirt combinations that you two chose, and here's why. Because for me, Incite has a little bit more of a modern sound, and here you are wearing one of the best, in my opinion, classic death metal shirts. And here you are, a classic veteran of many different bands. A lot of old school fans, you know, they love Sepultura, they love Soulfly, they love Cavalera Conspiracy, and here you are wearing a modern metalcore shirt, and I find this observation very interesting.
We planned this.
I think it's kind of cool.
Really? Yeah, I think this is just so interesting. Now I'm gonna switch over to you real fast because of your old school shirt. Inside it sounds nothing like Obituary. Yours is a lot more modern, and to me can relate to a really modern audience. So what kind of influence does a band like Obituary have on a band like Incite?
For me personally, being a vocalist, that's, you know, one of the best singers there is.
Right.
And I think, you know, I love the way, you know, he doesn't sing, he doesn't really change his tone. It's just in your face, raw aggression. And I think that is something I've always wanted to have in my vocals. You know, no singing, nothing like that. And I think that's where, you know, the inspiration for the Obituary came from. And, you know, I've loved them since, you know, Chopped in Half and, you know, Slowly Rerot. They're just like, you know, things I've always listened to. And I think, you know, as us being a newer band, I think, you know, we feed more off of the older stuff that's come along. And, you know, with Max, you know, he invented what we look at as influential to us now. So I think, you know, he looks at the new bands and can find inspiration off of them in search of, you know, different things that are going on out there. So I think that's kind of where you get the new age and the old age. And, you know, I'm a fan of, you know, every type of you know, era of metal, so this is where the heart is, though.
Yeah, if there's anything I've found, one thing that really sticks out to me, a word that sticks out to me as far as Cavalera family music is definitely diversity. That's something that I see not only like in the type of music you do and the type of music you do, but also in the type of instruments that you all use too. You know, especially Max with you and your kind of Brazilian in the way you incorporate world music. Why is this so important to you to include these kind of indigenous cultural instruments into heavy music?
We just thought, I think at that time with Sepultura when we did, started with our Rise, we started messing around a little bit with different kinds of different music. Chaos AD was a big record for us like that because we had the chance to really explore. Igor started doing a lot of Brazilian beats. And we started doing different covers like New Model Army that are not metal, you know. We were never really, in Sepultura, we're afraid to try different things and create different metal. And the possibility came with Roots, which was a complete different kind of record. I think with Roots, it showed that metal can be different, can be influenced by world music, and can travel to different parts of the world. And then with Soulfly, I continued that. That's why I recorded in many different countries and put a little bit of that world music into Soulfly. But it's definitely metal. You know, the root of it is metal, which I love. But it's just different kind of metal, and I think it's cool. You know, I think you've just brought more flavor to metal in general, and I think influenced a lot of bands. I see the Sepultura influence in stuff like System of a Down. You know. Yeah,
at the end of Aerials, is it?
Yeah. There's you know with their own roots, and then so many other bands out there. You know, I think it's cool. You know, it's just something new in the metal that came out from just messing around. Really, we didn't have any big plans for it. Nobody had a master plan behind the music. Just roll it.
Never works out that way.
Just roll with it. You know, it felt cool. Let's do it. You just keep trying, and next thing you know, we're doing something different, and it felt good.
Now, can I ask you, I know not a lot of people know about this, but I know that at one point, like in the early 90s, you kind of had a little industrial metal experiment by the name of Nail Bomb. Now, why didn't that ever work out for you? What was the kind of tipping point for you, and why did you only decide? I mean, I think you only had one live performance for it. So what made you decide that, well, maybe this isn't gonna go through?
We didn't want to. It was never a band to be a band. It was a project that was going only do a couple things, and that's it. We were going to finish, and we end up the original idea was just to make one record, which was Point Blank,
Mm-hmm.
that came out in '95, I think. And me and Alex, we had this big opportunity to play Dynamo. It was the biggest Dynamo they ever had. It was 120,000 people. So we decided to film it and record it, and it came out as a live album that was called Proud to Commit Commercial Suicide. The original name of the record was Better Dead Than Mainstream, which I kind of like that name better. But me and Alex were always never... Alex hates crowds, man. You know, he doesn't like it. He never liked that. He told me one time, I hate the noise of the crowd. Like, how can you be in a band if you hate the noise of the crowd? You know, it's like, it's not going to work out for you as a musician, man. But now, so now he produces records. I still play Nail Bomb. I play 2 songs tonight.
Really?
I play Cockroaches and Wasting Away.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be great.
Combined together. Because a lot of fans really like Nail Bomb. Inspire a lot of people. I personally find that the Nail Bomb record is timeless. I listen to it now, it sounds just awesome. It sounds as cool as it did when we first made it. It has not outdated to time, you know. Wow. It had kept it cool through the times. So that's why I still play some stuff live, you know. So, but we're never going to do it again. It's done. It's a done deal. Wow,
okay. Definitely. Now, Richie, I want to ask you something. We definitely talked about, like, the aspect of the family as far as a tour goes. But what about the songwriting process for you? What about, like, Max's musical side, and then, you know, Igor and Zion, like, you all kind of do your own thing. What about them influences your music? Like, how does their music influence, or how do you try to divert from their music?
You know, I mean, you know, growing up, you know, seeing, you know, from Sepultura to Soulfly and everything in between, you know, I think a lot of the influence, mostly that Max instilled on me, is, you know, the live performance. You know, going out every night, giving everything you have, no matter how many shows you played or, you know, things like that. I think we all kind of just, you know, like you said, we branch off and do our own music and kind of just let everybody have that, you know, so we're keeping everything separate and not all creating the same kind of sound and same music. I mean, you'll hear Lodi Kong, they're more of a alternative, you know, Nirvana type style with punk in it, you know, we're the groovy kind of thrash thing, and, you know, you got Max who does it all, and, you know, I think the writing process for us was really just letting it all go, and, you know, when you're in a practice room in Arizona and it's 120 degrees.
I cannot imagine.
And, you know, none of the guys in the band have anything, we're all living day to day, and I think it brings out great aggression and makes you really hungry to make great music that, you know, I think people will enjoy.
What are your hopes for the future of this? I mean, it's a really new band, but what are your hopes for the future of Incite?
You know, I just really want to keep touring and going places that, you know, fans really appreciate music coming to their city that don't have it all the time. You know, as him being a pioneer, that's one thing I saw that was great, you know, to see people that have never seen metal shows and, you know, Sepultura roll in town and kill them, and they were changed forever, you know, so I think it'd be great to continue with that. Places in the Middle East and China, and, you know, there's half the world's population over there and they don't even listen to metal yet.
Yeah, it's crazy to know. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I hope to be a band that can get over there and influence them on Western metal and influence of what we've got over here to offer.
Absolutely. Now, I do have a couple of questions. I've got a question from Kevin, who's from Minnesota, who's a big fan, and he visits SDMETAL. What are some key differences between life in the U.S. and life in Brazil?
A little bit like, I think Brazil has changed a lot, you know. It's actually a lot more close to America now. The last times I've been there, everything is internet and cyberspace, you know, and a lot of outside companies, you know, McDonald's and, you know, Tower Records and, you know, globalization, you know, which is cool. I think the main difference, one difference I noticed when I came here first time, maybe because I was drinking, there was bar, because in Brazil the bars are in the streets, open, you know, you drink outside. In the States, it's inside, like a cave,
Right.
almost like a repressed thing.
Right.
You know?
Like there's no way you could take a drink outside of a bar in the US.
And I always thought that was kind of weird. You know, Europe's more like Brazil. You live in Europe, you go to like France and Germany, people drinking on the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was one of the main difference I felt, culture shock. You know,
Wow.
when I came here.
And then I have one more fan question. Actually, this comes all the way from Syria. And his name is Osama, and he wants to know what's the story behind the song that you did with Immortal Technique, a rapper.
Il Bill?
Huh?
Is it Il Bill?
Yes!
Yeah, he's a fan, and he loves metal. He's actually has songs that he gives props to, like Slayer and Death and Sepultura, you know. So he approached me to do a song for him, and it was great. And all he wanted me to do was to sing Sepultura lines, which I already sang them, but he wanted me to sing them again and to put in his song. You know, and it was really cool. I loved it. You know, I think it's cool. Like when artists like that, you know, he's from the rap area. Him and Necro, I think that's his brother. They're totally not afraid to say metal is huge in their life, and they do rap, and they love metal, and they wear metal shirts.
That's so awesome.
I go on UBU website. He's wearing metal T-shirts, you know, Roots and you know Slayer, and so I think it's really cool. I wasn't, you know, for me being what I do, like I'm never afraid to try different things. You know, crossing over to that. You know, I'm not a big rap fan. I like classics. I like Ice-T and, you know, NWA and Public Enemy. You know, not much of the bling bling. And, you know,
yeah.
Bitches,
the money and hoes sort
of. The bitches and hoes, and I'm not down with that. But you know, classic Public Enemy and you know NWA. Fuck the police. I dig that. There's a punk, you know, message behind what they were doing. It was against society, you know. It was real metal, really, you know. If you compare the message of some of the rap back then and what metal says, it's pretty much similar, you know, completely different kind of music. But when you asked me to do that, I was, fuck yeah, I'll do it, man. You know, you're a big fan, and it's killer, and it came out, and a lot of people really like it.
Wow. That's amazing. I never knew that. But you're totally right. Like the message is very similar. That's awesome. And my last question for both of you, I know like when you're traveling and stuff, life can kind of get mundane. So what CDs or movies do you like? What are necessary for you to take on tour with you to
Breaking Bad.
Yes. Okay.
I fucking love it. Me and my wife are totally hooked on Breaking Bad.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
We're on season 3 right now.
Oh man.
I heard season 4 is insane.
Oh yeah.
So I can't wait.
Oh yeah. No, you're
So,
gonna yes.
We're watching this on this buzz every night. After the show's over, we're coming here. It's Breaking Bad time.
You've got to catch up, man, because second half of like season 5 is coming up. Oh my god.
I heard
oh my
that.
god.
And music, I got my Spotify on my iPod, and I just try to find new bands. I think that's pretty much. I go listen to old death metal, you know, and thrash, which I love, and then I try to find new stuff. That's how I found, you know, a lot of the stuff I listen to, like I Declare War, Molotov Solution, Impending Doom, Acacia Strain, you know. Yeah, I like a lot of this new heavy shit that's coming out. It's brutal and keeping metal alive.
That's awesome. What about you, Richie?
I would say my dog, Spanky, because he's in the van chilling right now. He's a little,
I think he's barking at me after
he's a killer. He's a killer.
We're gonna take him on the stage on the left
the side
of the tour.
He's gonna
Show
be
him to the crowd.
Be your new growler.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm driving, you know, the whole tour pretty much. So, you know, I try to get in deep with my music. You know, I listen to everything. I'll put Elton John on. I'll put, you know, Obituary on. I'm so open to it all. But, you know, right now it's been a lot of the new Deftones, and for the last few years, Silosis. You know, I think they're undoubtedly the freshest, newest, old school metal band that's hitting the airwaves, and I hope everybody checks them out because they deserve it.
Absolutely, their newest thing is so great.
They're unbelievable band.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to the show tonight. Thank you so much. And you've been watching SDMETAL.com.